Okay, so I'm back with another Final Fantasy 16, and now I was able to see the reason why my mic is picking up my aircon, and right now it's fine. Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, this quest, this set.
Have you seen my Chloe? I let her out of her pen while I did my chores, but she hasn't come back yet. I think she's lost. Please, can you help me look for her?
I can certainly try. Playthings.
I can't promise I'll find her, but I'll try. Describe her to me.
She's beautiful white hair. She lets me stroke her when I'm sad. She's ever such a good girl. So quiet and kind. And she likes walking in the wheat. I know the fields are big, but she's never got lost before. Oh, she must be starving too. She hasn't eaten anything since yesterday. It is my job to feed her.
In that case, let's not keep her waiting. That's a lot of field to search.
Waiting.
With a little luck, someone might have seen her.
Fastidious farm wife. Okay.
You work these fields? I need to ask you something.
A branded. And an outsider at that, judging by the lack of manners. Why should I help you, eh? You tell me that.
Because a girl from the village asked me to find her pet, Chloe. Have you seen her?
Chloe, is it? Oh, little Lisette's plaything. Last I saw, the filthy creature was sniffing about the windmill. That girl's old enough to know she should tie her pet up when she's finished playing with it.
Tie her
The windmill.
Off with you now. I won't have idle branded underfoot.
Windmill.
Chloe? More brown than white. You're not Chloe, are you, girl? Is that someone napping on the job? I hope they don't mind the interruption.
She's already
The crystal's curse.
Chloe, I was calling you. Didn't you hear me?
Oh my... What? She's
Get
Chloe?
up now. You've slept long enough. It's time to go home. Chloe? Why did you already turn into a rock? I only made you do a bit of magic. You knew you were my favourite. None of the other Chloes had pretty hair. It could be months before Dad gives me another one. I have to wait until they're too tired to work anymore.
Is that all she was to you? A plaything? Do you really not care that she's dead?
She's not dead. She's a rock.
Oh my.
That? The crystal's curse? That's just how she died. And now she's gone forever. Giving another bearer her name won't change that.
No, don't say that.
It's true. And without that brand, she would have been just another girl. Somebody's daughter. Just like you.
But Dad said bearers don't have parents.
They do. Parents that give them away. Families they'll never see again. But you became Chloe's family when you took her in. Remember that. And remember her.
Ooh. Magic touch.
I'm so sorry, Chloe.
She's not a plaything. Wait, abilities. I have 652 points. I can learn this. Projectiles dispelling wall of liquid. No, this one. I'll wait for 2000. Yeah, I'm gonna go to those towers. The watchtower, this one, and this one. Maybe there's something out there. Go back.
Wait, you're not one of us.
What?
You will pay for what you've done.
Demon Tamer Sash. What's that? What's that? Is that an equipment? Product chest. Huh. Oh, it's a belt. Ooh, I really don't like the sea. It gives me the chills. See? See that? Nobody likes that. Oh! Huh?
Not this time.
See? That feels like wanted me inside. Want me to jump? Don't like that feeling.
Let's make this quick. Don't let them get away. Get him, boy.
LB combo. Can I cancel? Oh. When you cancel the limit break, it will just consume everything. And there are no items or chests. Oh. Stroller jar.
Halt! Who goes there?
Block blood. Why do they have block blood? Ooh. Okay, I'll be back. See this massive place? It's crystalline dominion. Or not, I'm not sure. That's Breck, not crystalline dominion. Crystalline dominion is the one in the middle of the map. Okay. It's a big area, but nothing's there. Don't know why.
What are you playing at, Brandon?
How can I do that?
Finished.
Okay, there's a wall. Hmm. What's that crystal over there? What's that? Oh. Done. But why am I doing that? Why am I killing them? Don't know why. What's that?
It's over.
Hey, why can't I touch that? Ooh.
You're not welcome
Enemy
here.
sighted!
Oh.
That's enough. Take me.
And what did I get? Is that talon? Something? That's it. Okay, time to continue story, I think. Can I teleport? Nope. So I need to run. Okay. Should I hit the chocobo? Oh. Chocobo slaughter.
Go on, back to the pit.
Oi, don't touch anything.
Sold out. Clamshell. I need a high potion.
Thanks for nothing.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. Or Bertrand.
Are you Bertrand? The dame sent me.
Sounds about right. Only time I hear from her is when she wants something. Well, go on then. What is it?
One of her courtesans has gone missing, and I need to find her. A soldier who may have information on her whereabouts is rumored to have come here to meet with a trader.
Many traders stopped to peddle their wares on their way to the capital, but only one's been seen quarrelling with a soldier.
Is he still here?
The trader? Oh, yeah. Stubborn sod stood his ground till the soldier got tired of shouting, from what I hear. If you seek him out, keep your head down. Fact is, folks round here would sooner hang a branded than help him. And that's even with the dame's brooch for protection.
Understood.
If you want my advice, find the merchant quick and speak to him and only him. Then march yourself and that brandy all straight back to Northreach before the locals take up their pitchforks.
Okay. So they don't like...
If even a grain is missing.
Weren't expecting any new branded until the new moon. You don't think he's a deserter, do you?
What's this? A branded? Where's your master? Must I call for the constable?
I come to you from Northreach, at the behest of the dame. Perhaps you've heard of her.
Why, of course I have. I am the good lady's servant. What is it that she requires of me?
Rumor has it you were seen arguing with a soldier some few days ago. A soldier with a scar over his eye.
Yes, that's right. He had a comb which he claimed was an antique. Said he wanted to trade it for a newer one. But old though it was, an antique it most certainly was not, as I told him. Nevertheless, he insisted that it was of great value, and was quite vehement about my appraisal. I stood firm, however, and for all his bluster, he still purchased a new comb, albeit an inexpensive one.
And do you know where he went after that?
My customers aren't usually in the habit of telling me whither they are bound, but as it happens, this one did. Yonder ruins, strange as it may sound.
My thanks.
Not at all. I would do anything for the dame. Anything.
Wow.
Be sure and tell her, won't you, that I was helpful. I mean, most helpful. As I told you, the soldier made no secret of his destination. He said the ruins were the perfect place for him to ask his beloved Dausabel for her hand in marriage.
For hand in marriage. Oil Meadows. We go beyond? No. Don't know. Oh, that. Wait, we can't. Oh, they have a nice entrance. Whoever that is. Goblin coin.
It smells of death here, Torgal.
Are they dead?
Wolves closer to the village. That's enough.
The boss.
Give them all you've got, boy. You lose.
You lose.
Damn it all. Bodies. A man and a woman. Well, the wolves have been busy. But the blood is long dry.
Oh, so they were killed.
So it is you, Tatienne.
If that's true, then the body next to hers will be Yannick's. The girl Yannick went off to see every night. He said her name was Tatienne.
You. Did you follow me?
Now, why would I do that? Unless you think I'd have good reason to. But no. I was sent to find Yannick. By the looks of things, I have.
We both found who we were searching for.
Nah, he was a jealous sod. Couldn't stand the thought of his woman with someone else. Then one day he sees her with a new comb. Thinks she's got herself a new gallant. Tells the garrison he's gonna find the man and kill him. We know it's all talk, but then he disappears off to Moor for some dealings and doesn't come back.
If you mean this comb, it was a gift from the dame.
If only Yannick had bothered to ask, eh? He might not be rotting on a hill.
I think he meant to ask her something else. He stole the old comb and bought her a new one in the hope they'd wed.
Wed? Where would they have gone? Certainly not back to Northreach with a dame waiting. And we all know what happens to deserters. Tell the dame I'm sorry for her loss. When the lads come to collect Yannick's body, I'll see that Tatienne is delivered to the Vale.
Is that wise?
Oh, there won't be any covering up this mess. The most we can hope for is that the dame doesn't hold it against us. Speaking of which, I saw her in Moor just now. Could you tell her what happened? Might sound better coming from you.
Okay.
I need to tell Isabel. Perhaps the comb will give her something to remember Tatienne by.
My first thought is that he killed her just to be with her forever. Knowing that this game is too... My god. The water is too real. I like it.
Not much chance I'd make it through the Penitent's Gate without someone recognizing me as a deserter. Sid had better have a plan.
Just check. The things that I can gather. Like some items or whatnot. Sharp thing. What is this gate for if I can just jump here? Okay, time to go back here.
Weren't expecting any new branding until then.
If it was a message that needed delivering, I could have seen to it, milady.
Of course you could, had it not been personal. You are still in one piece, I see. You will be pleased to hear that your companions have arrived. They said they would meet you at a little chapel to the east of here.
Thank you, but you needn't have come all this way just to tell me. I was on my way to see you.
You found her then? I see. My dear Tatienne. It is by no means uncommon for a client to fall for a courtesan. Especially a client who's young and far from home. But rarely do such tales have happy endings.
I found this with Tatienne. I believe it was yours.
Thank you for returning it. I shall see that it has a place on her pyre.
I should go.
Before you do, I have one last gift. A token of my thanks. The Vale counts among its patrons several high-ranking officers of the Imperial Army. According to one of the looser-tongued gentlemen, it would appear that the legions are planning to march south.
Not to mention the same thing.
But did he mention that it was all of the legions? This is no mere skirmish. Were I to guess, I'd say the Emperor planned to abandon the capital. But that couldn't possibly be true now, could it? Take care, Clive.
I will. And thank you again.
Don't feel good, boy.
So that little chapel above is where they will meet me, or Clive, technically. It's not me, it's Clive. Not Clive. If they can have that turn on or off, or like set it as run or walk instead of doing it automatically. I'll have it as feedback. Probably. Got the time. Did you miss me?
Any trouble on the way?
None worth mentioning.
As I was telling Jill, it's worse than I thought. The capital's crawling with soldiers.
And here I am, the deserter come home.
Which is why we'll be taking the back door.
How did they come inside?
Cheer up, you two. Can't think of a safer place in the Empire than a... brothel.
Really? Doesn't seem very private.
So then, how do we proceed?
We'll be using the glass gate. Tonight, just after sunset.
Where the shards are loaded for transport. That is one of the most heavily guarded points in all of Sambrec.
But not the most, which is a start. Besides, I know a shortcut straight to the heart.
A shortcut? And how exactly did you come to know about this fatal chink in the Empire's armor?
Let's just say I may have attempted something similar before. And may have ended up running for dear life after being discovered by Bahamut, but that's not important.
Sid, if the Mother Crystals truly are the cause of the Blight...
If? You wound me, Jill.
What I'm trying to say is, if the powers that be know all of this, why do they sit idle and allow it to continue?
In case you haven't noticed, the God-fearing people of this realm and their pious leaders care for but one thing, themselves. And they'll do whatever it takes to hold on to power. The rest of us are just a means to an end. The moment you raise your voice against them, you're decried as an outlaw, clapped in irons and slung in a cell to rot.
An outlaw.
Whoever controls the crystals controls the realm. But our kind can wield magic without them. To our rulers, we must seem the most convenient of tools. And the most dangerous.
But what makes them think they have the right to use us? To leave us to die when our bodies are spent?
Does a nobleman weep for a broken mug? A torn tunic? Our fate means nothing to them. No, this isn't a battle you can win with words. Believe me, I've tried, but nothing ever gets through. The world is simply not ready to listen. So to hell with talking. If they won't give us a say, we'll decide our fates another way. You can't blame a man for wanting to bring an end to all this, can you?
I can't. But what of all the people you mean to rob of their comforts? Are you happy for them to call you outlaw?
Sid the Outlaw. Aye, that'll do me.
You might at least pretend to take this seriously.
Have a little faith, Jill. Even if you don't think much of my choice of digs. If it means my deeds will be remembered, I'll gladly play the role of villain. But first, we have a gate to crash. And once we're in, there'll be no turning back. So you best make ready. The world won't save itself.
To The world won't save itself. This is it, Northridge. Royal Meadows. Drake's Head. In majestic silence has Drake's Head ever stood vigil over the empire of Sunbreak and its bejeweled capital. You have reached a pivotal moment in the story. If you continue, will not be able to return. Proceed. Yes. Okay. I hope I don't get sleepy. Drake's Head.
There are not nearly enough men here.
Then it's fortunate the city guard doesn't take sentry assignment as seriously as you do. This bodes well.
I'll be a first. This may not be such a terrible plan after all.
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
Only that your last secret shortcut was nowhere near as secret as you claimed.
Yeah, but that's half the fun of it. Life's too short for perfect plans. You want a plan that'll keep you on your toes, stop you growing old and complacent.
Worked for you, has it?
Clive, my boy, even life's smallest challenges offer the opportunity to grow and to change. You must embrace these moments. Allow them to suffuse your heart with a deep sense of fulfillment.
Narrowly escaping death at the hands of an enemy is not my idea of fulfillment.
Something wrong?
Not at all. Just wondering if the two of you had finished.
Right. We make for the Mother Crystal's heart as planned. Destroy it and the whole thing should come tumbling down.
And if the passage to the inner sanctum is guarded?
Then we embrace the moment and use it to grow and change.
Simple as that. Crystal's Curse.
Come on, this way. Try to stay out of sight.
Wait.
Obviously.
Don't worry, the passage is empty.
Wow. Crystal is too big. There are no guards.
All right, not quite empty. Let's get this over with.
Single man from reaching the sanctum, so shut your gob and keep your eyes open.
For real?
They're not from the garrison.
I swear this passage used to be secret.
Of course it did.
Perfect plans, Clive. Perfect plans.
That's enough. It's over. Stay down. It's over. Finished.
Made a commotion.
It never stood a chance.
You're welcome.
The main tunnel.
That would be my guess. There are sentries everywhere.
Maybe some potions.
And all good things must come to an end. We might have a bit more company from now on.
Ooh.
Captain, to arms, men! Flames to me! Summon the cannoneers! At once!
What?
Not this time. Stay down.
I think this may be the moment I was talking about earlier.
What have we here? More insects come to be squashed? You will find my mortar and I only too happy to oblige.
To the talker.
Then let's shut him up.
Yep.
Not this time. Not this time.
You feel that? Something in the air.
It's ether.
Then we better make this quick. My wounds, boy. Not this time.
Oh.
Toggle. Need to end this quickly. Not this time.
I want to die.
Is he?
Huh?
Oh, bollocks. He's gone Akashic.
Shit.
Poor Patch.
Save your pity. We'll get none in return. There's nothing left of him but hatred and rage.
Let's end his torment. Not this time.
Oh my.
That's better. Not this time. Not this time.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how to defeat that guy. Okay, I think I need to check the how he attacks first.
Poor wretch.
Save your pity. We'll get none in return. There's nothing left of him but hatred and rage.
Let's end his torment. Too slow. Not this time. Not this time. My wounds, boy. Too slow. Get him. Not this time. Not this time. Too slow. Not this time.
I really suck at this. Fever of Inferno. Increases ignition damage by 12%.
I'll never get used to that. Akashic or no, he was still a man. A man who drowned in ether.
It's no way for anyone to go.
Come on.
God, duty's a death sentence in this place. Not that Sylvester cares.
The reversible change brought about by a living being's overexposure to ether. Oh, creatures are stripped of any intelligence or sense of self they may once have had, and become suffused with life force, usually manifesting as extreme strength and aggression. Flora can also turn, resulting in their twisted overgrowth. Those with ethereal tolerance, however, such as dominant and bearers, are less likely to turn akashic. Oh.
Breathe deep of the blessing, my friends. Who said being a dominant doesn't have its benefits?
Sid, this is an ether flood.
There shouldn't be one here, should there? The workers couldn't survive this.
Well, it wasn't here last time, I can tell you that. Which means we need to be quick. The ether won't hurt us, but I'd rather not find out what it's done to everyone else.
I don't have a map, so... we're under the castle, is that it? Under the city. Need a potion. Still sick.
Oh, the miners. The gods.
Too far gone. The ether's made monsters of them. All we can do now is put them out of their misery.
Isabel said she thought the Empire might be planning to abandon the capital. Could this be why?
Oh. You said you could call her Elizabeth. Never mind. If ever there was a reason to up sticks, an ether flood would be it. Maybe those guards at the gate. They weren't there to keep people out.
Hello.
They were there to keep the Akashic in.
Oh.
Doesn't look that far. Right. Right-o. Whoa. Some help.
Hold on.
Not quite as spry as I used to be.
I'll take that as a thank you.
Look on the bright side, eh? At least you won't get lost.
Can't go back. Literally. Hey, what's this? Warcry. Some opponents will use the ability Warcry to invigorate themselves, enhancing their performance in battle. Let's look for the icon to try and defeat them before they can deal too much damage. Where to go? Don't want to miss anything. To kill. Bloody hell. Okay, so this is where they put their crystals, or they mine the crystals. This way it's the ether has this abundant flow. Oh.
Too slow. Not this time.
Not really a potion user. That's why I don't want that. Or a sword. Huh. It's color blue.
I see they replaced that wooden door with something a little more sturdy. On the count of 3.
What happened to 2?
Ask 1.
Once more.
Aye, seeing as you're trying now. As if that was going to keep us out.
Is it too dark?
The mother crystal's just up ahead.
Is it? I can't see a thing.
Well, unless someone's moved it.
Unless someone moved that big of a crystal. Ooh.
There's no one about.
I knew it would be big. But this...
There. That's our way into the inner sanctum. You'd think they'd have patched that up by now. Sorry state the Empire's in.
Wait. You don't mean...
Aye. My little game of hide-and-seek with Bahamut ended here. A tragic cost to this remarkable architecture. Don't blame me, he started it.
But how did he make it out alive?
I walked. You should try it.
It's very sarcastic. Path of the Goddess.
Something you two want to tell me?
Maybe later. Not this time.
How could those creatures from Phoenix Gate be here in the mines?
Are the two places connected somehow?
Wait, I'm gonna change my equipment. Tongue thrust, burning blade, aerial combo, potency of potions, crispy defense, tongue thrust. By 15%. Aerial combo damage by 8%. Potential potions. So their battle after this door. Of course.
was in the Imperial Army, soldiers assigned to the Glass Gate would tell stories about something they called the Guardian.
Can't say I saw anything like that when I was last here. Then again, I can't say I made it this far.
Let's just be careful then.
Yep. Of course, it's closed.
Where did that come from?
If I had to guess...
Poor beast. Another victim of the flood.
Who are you?
Well, if it's a fight he wants.
Crush of Dragon.
Ready, Clive?
Always.
Oh.
Now. Clive, look out!
What?
Too slow. Not this time. Not this time. Not this time.
Cool. Any spoils? Give me spoils. Meteorite.
Are you all right?
Fine.
The inner sanctum lies just beyond. Chances are the palace guard knows we're here. We should move. Not that any sane commander would send his men into a place awash with this much ether. Clive. If this all works, and the blessing fades, things are likely to get worse for our kind before they get better. Being the last to wield ether will make our talents that much more sought after, by which I mean hunted. I just hope, in the end, they'll see that we didn't have any other choice. That it was the only way to get us to a better place.
And here I was thinking I was the uncertain one. Luckily, 2 out of 3 of us have faith in you.
Then it all starts here. Time to earn that menacing title. Sid the Vicious, was it?
Okay, time to destroy the Mother Crystal. Of Sunbreak. It's the Drake's
We're almost
head,
there.
right?
Anyone having second thoughts?
Not me.
We're with you to the end, Sid.
Then what are we waiting for?
Waiting for some loots. Oh. Where is this the Drake said?
It's beautiful.
The heart of Sunbreak.
Well, that didn't work. I think we're gonna need a bigger sword.
Mine's bigger.
Thank you, Clive, but I meant that figuratively. The core's clearly made of sterner stuff. Tyler's going to have a fit when she hears about this. Stand back. It's about to get cramped in here.
It's gonna transform.
That's more like it.
Clive, look.
What is that? Sid! Ifrit, I need Ifrit.
It's big.
Come to me. I can't do this without you. Not again. Where are you?
Hold on.
What's happening? They wanted to get Clive? Whatever that alien thing is.
Where the hell am I?
Oh my. Gonna fight?
I've been here before. You again. Where are you? What do you want? Fuck. He's still alive. Get out of my head! I don't answer to you. I'm leaving, one way or by the flames. Not this time.
No.
isn't yours.
Hmm?
But this is mine. I remember now. I had a fire. I had it freezed!
Body Ifrit again. Contrast for Ifrit is score melee, triangle range, Taro evade, jump. Ability mastery is shared with Clive. Press triangle after executing a fireball burst. The iconic version of Clive's magic burst to perform a devastating melee finish known as backdraft. Use circle to sprint over an extended distance. Hold circle to lengthen sprint duration and use L while sprinting to change direction. All abilities available while embodying Ifrit can be confirmed on the abilities tab, the main menu. Ooh, this is cool. Ending clever, dodging like wildfire. Using L while holding circle is an effective method to avoid Typhon's musky attacks. I don't have alternative skills.
It's done.
So Clive can't absorb him.
How many more could there be?
We use Hellfire.
As you wish.
Again. Oh my. What? transgressor. There you go, on fire. Vanquished. Breath of fire. Reduces flame of burst cooldown time by 12 seconds. Ooh. Vessel.
Clive.
Well, enjoy your nap.
You're wounded.
This? It's only a scratch. All right, the hole.
We'll find you a healer.
Here? No, you won't.
Oh.
I know who you are. And if you think I'm gonna let you have him... think again.
Sid.
One left. That'll do me.
Try not to talk.
Clive. For so long, I thought I had all the answers. But then I met you. And I learned it wasn't a good death we should be fighting for, but a better life. It's all very well, a man reclaiming his fate. But if he can't choose how he meets it, what's the point? So, I made a choice. The rest is in your hands. The Crystal's blessing is a prison, Clive. And if it's an outlaw the world needs to help it break free, stop. Please. I can think of none better than you.
Why did they do that? The few who learn the truth are hunted down by those in position of power, those whose power rests on their control on this crucial resource. The brightly shining convolution of shards that sits at the center of each mother crystal. When a heart shatters, so too does the mountain around it. Since time immemorial, sanctuaries have been built around the hearts for the worship and protection of these irreplaceable treasures. Other crystals were the cause of all-consuming blight. Who's that guy? The Typhon guy.
In ashen grip, let ember glow, to kindle flames anew.
Another question. What's happening? Questions after questions.
I'm sorry, Clive. Had I arrived but a moment sooner. Do you remember me, boy? I saw you protect them. That was very brave.
So he's Joshua.
I know you're there, Ultima.
You have learned our name. What else have you learned, Phoenix?
My travels have revealed much about you and your ambitions. I know that it was you who tore me from my brother. And I know that it is his power that you seek. But know this. If you want him, you'll have to go through me.
Very well.
Breath of mine ancestors, fill these lungs that I may dispel the songs of suffering.
A disturbance.
We'll leave. My brother alone.
Oh, it's powerful.
This is getting us nowhere.
We agree. No more games, Phoenix. We have come to claim our vessel.
And I said no.
These flames are nothing. You will know what it is to burn.
Yours is a fleeting form. I'm not fool enough to think I can harm you. But to protect my brother, I don't have to.
These are not flames of destruction.
Have you forgotten already who I am?
What? He absorbs opium, huh?
Just try and get to my brother now. Fiend.
And the crystal is gone. Meanwhile, the hideaway. Oh! The Legions.
No survival! You hurt me! Must be here. Must! Can fail Lord Cook again! Find Sid! Are all fucking dead! Sid, help us! Where is he? You'll do!
Oh.
Bastard!
Gab, we've got to go!
Not without this!
Why?
Sid is not among the dead. Shall I send a Stolas?
That won't be necessary.
What? He'll destroy the hideaway?
Fuck me! Where the hell are you, Sid? Where the hell are you?
It's already dead. I thought nobody can use magic. The deadlines. Costness.
The finest silks from the master weavers of Randalar. Come, feel its softness.
Chocobo
Make a nice
steaks,
gift for your
chocobo
wife.
sausage, all from greens-fed farm birds. None of the old courses you'll find elsewhere. Here, take a bite.
I've got peppers and peas, beans and beets. If it goes in a pot, I've got the lot.
Curatives, restoratives,
Look all you like, sir. It's all fresh. Picked this very morning.
Restoratives, unguents, ointments, poultices, palmatives, curatives, restoratives, unguents, ointments, poultices. Might I interest you in a potion, milady? Perhaps a soothing salve to ease the aches of the road? I'm sorry. I wish you well, but may the mothers guide you. Calmatives, curatives, restoratives, unguents, ointments, poultices, calmatives, curatives, restoratives.
5 years later. Year of the Realm 878.
It's good to see you, Sid.
Huh?
What have we learned?
The bearers are locked up in an old courthouse on the edge of town. And I hardly need tell you who is there to make sure they stay that way.
Kupka's private guard.
It's a trap. And not a very good one at that.
Another? What does he hope to gain from this?
I'll have the captives free before nightfall.
You do nothing of the sort. Our comrades didn't give their lives for you to get your throat slit in a god's forsaken slum.
So those in the courthouse should be left to suffer.
That's not what I said. I simply meant it doesn't have to be you who frees them. Damn it all. You're as stubborn as the old Sid was. Just don't say I didn't warn you. You're Sid now, and if anything happens to him, we're finished.
To him? His friend is already removed.
Please, we don't know anything. You have to believe us. We'd help you if we could.
But you're helping us already.
Forgive him, my lord. He did not mean to offend.
Quiet, you!
No sign of Hugo.
I'll wager he thinks as highly of his minions' traps as we do.
Then this should be easy.
Don't hurt us. I beg of you.
Quiet means quiet, branded scum.
It's going to be all right. I'm here to even the odds. Any objections?
It's him, the outlaw. Sit here.
Should we?
Come on.
Hafra mo.
Go! Summon the others! The bearers?
Safe.
The power of thunder. Clive has claimed a portion of the icon Ramu's essence. Tuning with Ramu not only changes the elemental aspect of Clive's magic spells, but also allows access to several new iconic abilities such as Thunderstorm, which rains 11 bolts down on all nearby enemies, knocking them back. Pretty details are found on the abilities tab in the main menu. The most accurate feat. Blind Chastity could be used to launch a barrage of ball lightning up to 9 targets determined by locking into them. The lightning will temporarily remain affixed to a target and can be ignited by striking it.
Sid dies here!
Oh.
Outlaws in here! Bring me his head!
How many are there? Titan sends his regards. Well done, Tor.
Enough of this! Let him play with the kitten!
Kitten?
They brought a pet.
You'll pay for what you've done, Sid.
Those things are fast.
We'll have to be faster.
Lightning Shard. Para icon Ramu.
To hell with this!
They'll tell Hugo.
Let them. There's been more than enough bloodshed for one day.
Murderer. All of our friends are dead because of you. Do you hear me? They used us as bait. Bait to lure you out of your stinking hole, all because you couldn't just let things be.
What are you even doing here? We never asked to be saved. Did you think we'd thank you? They'll never forgive us. We're all marked now.
For 5 years we fought to secure a better life for our kind. To see that we are treated as equals. Do you not want that?
What we want is to be left alone. Every time you show your faces, it is we who suffer.
It's all right. I'm sorry.
Just leave us be. This is our home, and this is where we'll stay.
Sid told us this wouldn't be easy. They'll come round.
If you say so.
We should go.
The Hideaway again. Amongst the unfading remnants of ambitions now forgotten, do Clive and his companions forge a path to a better tomorrow. Benumire? Benum?
That night 5 years ago, we destroyed what for many was a symbol of hope. For a reason they'll never know. We cannot blame them for thinking us the cause of their misery. Though it's to give them a better tomorrow, they see only that we've made their lives harder today. Yet the boil must be lanced if it is to heal.
I can't help but wonder if we've made the right choice.
When Sid said that he wanted to create a world where we were free. Free to choose our own path. I honestly don't think it mattered to him if that choice was right or wrong. Only that it was our own.
I miss him.
A world where we can live and die as equals. That's what he wanted. What we want. And that's why I bear his name. It's why we've all chosen to bear his legacy. And I'm not going to let anything stand in our way.
Ride's over, lovebirds. Home sweet home.
What? This is our new place? The Hideaway. Home sweet home.
Otto was asking after you. Let's go and see him.
Never a dull moment.
Oh, where are we? Really? This is the hideaway? What happened? Is there a lake? Because of Kupka? Okay, the crystal is already gone here. But how? Is there a water?
Last I saw, he was in the mess, as always.
Welcome back, Sid.
Beautiful sword.
Finish with that log so we can call it a morning.
Almost done.
Again! Why didn't schoolboys swing harder?
Otto will want to know what happened in Cosness. I expect he'll be in the mess.
Cosness. So this is an old airship. Is that it?
It's Sid.
Staying long this time?
Clive, is everything all right?
So this is my room.
Shelves are closed. The sign outside should have told you. Yeah, the sign outside should have told you.
But there's no sign.
I am a tinker by trade, but I've always been fascinated with the art of healing. If only there were a salve to mend a broken engine.
Have we any more knuckle pies?
Oh, sadly not. Molly used the last of the chocobo in the stew.
The stew.
I don't know, perhaps.
You look like you could do with a drink.
Huh? Chat leave.
How am I getting on? Ah, about as well as you'd expect of a barmaid pouring sour ale for penniless outlaws in the middle of the Deadlands. And it'd be worse than that if Molly here didn't make the best stew this side of Stonehair, even if it is mostly just yesterday's leavings. Don't tell her you heard that from me, though. Oh, you're not leaving already, are you?
Yes, I do.
Is it business or pleasure?
Ask about the hideaway.
Well, you won't hear me complaining.
It's even roomier than the old one was. Got my own stores, my own little counter. Thanks to you, fighting the good fight. Plenty of demand for me wares.
The only drawback?
The constant bloody racket. If it's not Doris and Otto barking their orders, it's Blackthorn and Bardolph banging away day and night.
Still,
if a pain in the ear holds the price I have to pay to be Sid the Outlaw's partner in crime, I'd say if I've got myself a bargain. Has it really been 5 years since we left the old place? All time flies.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
We were all waiting to treat Sid to a hero's welcome when Kupka's lot turned up. I thought we knew it was them. They just poured in like a plague of rats, cutting down anyone and anything that stood in their way. Blood and bodies everywhere there was, and a voice crying out for Sid to save us in the midst of it all. I'll never forget those cries, try as I might.
You're our leader now, Clive.
Promise me you won't let anything like that happen again. Promise me that come what may, Sid will save us. Of course.
Ta-ra then. Clive, you're back. You didn't happen to run out of potions while you're away, did you? We've a fine selection of tonics and tinctures. Oh, perhaps you'd be interested in some new gear.
You're still alive. With an apprentice.
If you told me you could fire a forge without a crystal or a bearer before I came here, I'd have taken you for a madman. But no, here it is.
The secret's in the bellows, you know.
They're Master Sid's own design. The other Master Sid.
I got ya. Things here ain't too bad.
Suppose. I've got a decent hammer, a decent anvil, and an apprentice that knows his hammer from his cock. Oh, and the furnace is alright and all, thanks to old Sid's bellows. And the gods only know how I'd keep the coals hot enough out here on the mirror without them. Not with bloody crystals, that's for sure. No, I reckon you won't find a forge like this one anywhere near us in the Twins. I count myself lucky to work it. Thanks for keeping me on. You need anything, you give us a shout.
You've forgotten already? Because I haven't.
It's a right pain in the arse getting this place into shape, especially with the mess we were in. I thought it was anything new for those of us who put the old hideaway together.
Still.
That don't mean I intend on doing it again.
Back to work then.
Yep.
This plank will have to be replaced.
Nearly half the crates were lost to bandits.
But half weren't, and their contents will see us through the season.
Oh, the place is huge.
When did I put that sun? That they bloomed at all is a blessing.
Backyard. It's a bigger hub. Hello there. You know what? If I live there, I will die. I don't know how to swim.
Once the hall's swept, it's over to the tavern.
All of memories. The oath. Greeted the day Clive pledges allegiance to Sid. This crystal shard transfixed with twin daggers is a powerful reminder of promise made, friendship forged, and legacy inherited. What? It's like I'm just starting the game? Airship. Redstone. Okay, once I finish talking with Otto, I'm gonna end my stream. amazing with the place.
All operations are suspended until further notice.
Yes, Captain. I'll let the others know.
August.
Have you finished sorting those reports yet?
Finished? I ain't started. Been busy enough with my own work.
You're pulling my leg, aren't you? Otto's gonna skin me alive.
Ah, there you are, Clive. Word of your adventures arrived this morning. Victor sent his thanks.
I doubt Kupka will miss the fools he sent to catch me. Not a single one of the bearers we saved showed any interest in coming with us. No one seems keen to join hands with an outlaw. Any news while we were away?
None worth mentioning. Gav's still off keeping an eye on the Republican army. Should be back any day now.
Understood. If anyone needs me, I'll be in the map room.
Still can't work that one out. There must be better places than the hull of a gutted airship to bury your nose in a book.
Yet this is where she's chosen to be. And I'm sure she has her reasons.
She? Vivian.
I learned something new. You'll be the first to know. Now off you go.
To refers the jurisprudence to Continental Accord. Signing of Continental Accord marks the beginning of the modern era of Valistia. The realm has once been riven by hatred and mistrusts. Yeah, I think I read that before. Vivian?
I'd trust I'm not intruding.
Back from your mission? I'm beginning to think your habit of surviving cannot be attributed to luck alone.
One might say the same of you, Vivian Ninetails.
I'll have you know that only 4 attempts have been made on my life, and none was especially memorable. So, to what do I owe the honor? Could it be that you've come for one of my lessons?
Is that so hard to believe?
Very well then. Shall we start with the state of the realm? To absolutely no one's surprise, she finds herself at the mercy of armies and outlaws. Well, mostly armies. Though that's not for want of trying, is it, Clive? But the real question is, how did we get here? Long though Sambrek's dominion over northeastern Storm has endured, recent days have seen the Blight wrest ever more land from her grasp. For which reason she has continued to wage war on her rival across the strait, hoping to claim less blackened pastures. But Odin would sooner pawn his sword than Waloed relinquish Ash. And the Empire pays dearly for every blade of grass bent beneath Sambrequois boots. Little wonder then that Sylvester set his sights on the crystalline dominion, an altogether easier target, possessed of no less ether. It was 5 years ago, while you were busying yourself with the destruction of Drake's head, that the Empire made its move, subjugating its theretofore neutral neighbor. A nation which could legitimately claim to be the center of the world.
Ooh.
Certainly there is no better place to stage an army. From there, the Holy Empire's reach spans the Twins. The non-aggression treaty was the only thing keeping them in check. But if they truly broke the pact without provocation, it is only a matter of time before others reply in kind. The Holy Empire, the Dhalmekian Republic, the Kingdom of Waloed, and of course, our friends in Yaran. Who will be left standing, I wonder, when the last drop of blood is spilled?
You were born in Twinside. Do you not fear for your home?
Oh, dark clouds are wont to gather over the Dominion. Yet in spite of it all, she has ever endured. And when the storm has passed, I am confident she will remain. Now, as to the matter of payment for today's lesson, complete a simple errand for me and we shall consider ourselves even.
Even? Right.
Return this volume to old tomes in the shelves. Tell him it was adequate.
Oh,
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to visit our resident historian.
Ah, the guy is still alive.
Here for another of my lectures?
Ask about Vivian.
One would think.
My role is abundantly clear by now. I offer you and yours the guiding light of knowledge, that of matters military and political, both past and present, that it might illuminate your way ahead. For it is only by understanding what has come before that one might steer one's way toward a brighter future. Your role, meanwhile, is to ensure that I remain furnished with as much information on the state of the realm as your people can master, in order that I might continue to appraise the dispositions of the great nations and those who rule them. And of course, to pay attention during my lectures. It would not do to appoint a storied Ninetales as your tutor, only to disregard her expert advice.
I admit.
When I took up my professor's bonnet and began teaching at the University of Canver, I did not think for a moment that I would one day count Sid the outlaw among my pupils. But nor did I imagine that my fellow educators would have designs on my life. We both know how that ended. Has it been a year already? Such is the peril of an overly inquisitive mind, I suppose. One is wont to uncover that which others would go to great lengths to ensure remained hidden. Were it not for you and our mutual friend having come to the rescue, my curiosity would likely have proved fatal. But instead I was not only saved, but granted a new lease of life. As personal tutor to a band of outlaws, no less.
A far more reputable fellowship
than anything in the academic world, I assure you. Let's go about the crystalline dominion.
My beloved homeland.
The crossroads of Valisthea, where one only has to stroll the street to hear news from every far-flung corner of the realm. Smaller crystal yields more shards than any other, and its lands even now remained untouched by the blight. It is a blessed country indeed.
Or at least, it was.
Until Sunbreak elected to invade and establish a new holy capital upon Twinside's heretofore neutral shores. Pains me to see the land I love so changed, and even more to know that I did not predict it. I knew that Emperor Sylvester had designs on the Dominion, but to abandon Oriflamme, the seat of the Holy Empire since its inception, seemed too audacious a move even for him.
How may I help you today?
State of the realm. By speaking with Vivian in the Hideaway's map room, Clive can view the state of the realm and learn more about the current goings in Valisthea, revisit any of the Ninetales past, lesson, or take deeper look at the relationships of those individuals in Clive's orbit. Oh.
Here's the latest information I have.
Here you can view a detailed visualization of character relationships in Final Fantasy XVI that updates as you progress through the main scenario. Use L1R1 to cycle through pivotal milestones in Clive's adventure. Clive, Jill, Puppy, Grandcast, Joshua, Rodney, Sir Tyler surveyed, Ambrosia, Believed dead, deceased. Former Duchess. Mysterious stranger. Wait, so they're not deceased? Puppy. She was dominant. Titan's dominant. What's this? Lord Commander. Cloaks and daggers. General Duxby. Duxbody. Sidolphus Telamon. Crutus Alliance. Quinten. Aya. And Gav. And they fight. Diamond. This is nice. Why she's deceased. And it's revealed that he's an audience dominant. Attendant of the Crown Prince. And their allies. What's this? Martha. Hannah Murdoch. Oh yeah. And she's dead. Killed by the Holy Empress. What's this? Attendant to Margrace. Titan and Ramo. Ah, he attacked the hideaway, I think. Or to Oriflamme. Alliance. You're still alive? Mysterious being. Who are you? Another worthy being that Clive encountered in the inner sanctum of Drake's head. He addressed Clive as Mythos before attempting to merge with her consciousness. However, Clive was able to summon the will to resist the creature before Joshua returned from the dead to imprison it in a cage of flame that he sealed away in his own heart. Yep. And he's deceased. Opulus. A friend of Otto's from his merchant seaman days, now serving as a ferryman between the shores of Penumir and Clive's hideaway. Knowing him to be a trustworthy and tight-lipped fellow, Otto invited him to join their cause after Seed's death, that he and his trusty skiff might help them build and operate their new hideaway in the lake. I see. Person of interests.
One must understand one's place in the world.
Here you can view a detailed overview of current and past events relevant to Clive's story that updates as you progress through the main scenario. You sail 1 hour 1 to cycle through the pivotal milestones in Clive's adventure. Following Clive, the Stillwind, local army. Reinforcements. Iron Kingdom. Iron Castle. Iron Crusade. I mean. Knight of the Flames. Present territories. They both attacked? Vision of Rosaria. Yeah. Rosaria was critically weakened at the time, having lost Archduke Elwin Rosfield has been plunged into chaos. Aftermath of the attack on Phoenix Gate, the Iron Blood unleashed a wave of murderous destruction on Rosarians, and returned home with human spoils in form of countless young women and children. Chill Warwick among them. I see. Seized by Sunbreak. Drafted into Imperial regions. Clive survives the tragedy of Phoenix Gate only to be forcibly recruited into the Imperial army and spirited away to Sunbreak on his mother's orders. He would not return to his homeland again for many a long year. Okay, so this is where Shiva and Titan went. Karen Orbit. Garuda's Rage. Battle of Telemus Boar. Tor, Belanus Tor. Strait of Alta. The narrow channel to the north of Crystal in the Myrnian that separates the continents of Storm and Ash, with Sunbreak to the west, Walud to the east, the Dominion to the south. Its shores are never short of soldiers or political tension. Salvation at King's Fall. Rendezvous with Gov. Imperial Army. Okay, so nothing's happening. In the year 860, at Emperor Sylvester's behest, the Cortinas agreed upon a plan to liberate this area from the marauding forces of the Iron Kingdom, after which the duchy has had a little choice but to bend the knee and become an imperial province. Massacre at East Pool. Yeah. Why? Fall of Drake's breath. Drake's head. Then Kopka attacked. Men of the Rock. The hideaway rebuilt. Clive returns to the hideaway to find it in ruins. Devastated by Yuka Kupka and his minions, he refuses to let his dream die. However, and rallies the survivors behind him, eventually leading them to build a new home at the heart of Benamir. A lake in the Blighted Lands on the north and the southern edge of the former Grand Duchy of Rosaria, named for the dragon that some tell say created the basin when it fell from the sky. Foreign airship thought its expansive waters like forgotten cenotaphs, leading some to liken it to a graveyard. Its remote location far from any trade route, and deep inside the Deadlands made it an obvious choice for Clive when faced with rebuilding Sith's legacy. Is this water? No, this is a land. So there's a sea somewhere here. Lake. Kostnis. Pursuit of Seed. Kingdom of Walud. So they're now introducing the Walud forces. Okay. What's this one?
Yes, perhaps a little revision might not go amiss. thus ends today's lesson.
Yep, so that ends my stream as well. Yeah, sorry. I just saw your message. I can't sleep, that's why I do some streaming. So yeah, this is my ending speech actually. Now I can feel my eyes getting sleepy. Yeah, thank you. See you again maybe by Thursday, Friday night, Friday on. I really like the view, but I don't like the water. So yeah. That's it for now. Bye.